Imagine this for a moment. You're climbing a simple flight of stairs, the same set you've walked up 1,000 times before. But today it feels different. Your legs are heavier. Your knees ache a little more than they used to. Every step feels like a small hill, and when you reach the top, you pause, catching your breath, wondering quietly, what's happening to me? You eat well, at least you've tried to. You choose fresh fruits because you've always heard they're nature's candy, full of vitamins and goodness. You move your body, maybe a light walk every day, maybe stretching when you can. You've done what you were told to stay healthy, and yet your legs don't feel as strong, your joints are stiffer, and even getting up from a chair takes a little more effort than you remember. Now here's the question that makes you stop and think. Is this just aging? Or is there something else quietly working against you? What if some of the very foods you trust to keep you strong, those colorful, juicy fruits you've put in your basket for years, are silently making things harder for your legs and your joints? That's not about fear. That's about understanding your body and making choices that actually support the life you want to live. You see, as you age, your body doesn't process food the same way it did at 30 or 40. Your blood vessels are more delicate. Your metabolism slows down. The joints you depend on every day lose a little of their natural cushion. And some fruits, while healthy in theory, can create spikes in blood sugar, low-level inflammation, or strain your circulation in ways that show up exactly where you feel it most. Your legs, your knees, your ankles. This isn't about giving up fruit. It's about knowing which ones to lean on and which ones to approach with more care, so you can keep moving freely and enjoy every step you take. Before we go any further, I want you to think about your own habits. How many different kinds of fruit do you eat in a week? Which one do you reach for the most? Type it down, even just for yourself. That small act of awareness is the first step in taking control of your choices. Let's start with one fruit that surprises most people. Pineapple. You can probably picture it right now, golden and sweet, bursting with tropical flavor. It's famous for bromelain, an enzyme that can fight inflammation, and you might have heard it's good for digestion. But here's what happens behind the scenes, especially after 60. Pineapple is loaded with natural sugars and acids. In a younger body, your system can buffer those sugar spikes pretty easily. But as you age, your blood vessels, especially the tiny ones that feed your legs and feet, become more fragile. When you eat pineapple, all that sugar rushes into your bloodstream quickly. That sudden spike stresses those tiny vessels, reducing oxygen flow to your muscles. Over time, this can translate into swelling, fatigue, and that dragging heaviness you sometimes feel in your legs after just a short walk. Then there's the acid. If your joints are already a little inflamed from arthritis or just wear and tear, that acid is like adding fuel to a smoldering fire. Your knees, hips, and ankles can feel the burn without you ever realizing the connection. And there's one more thing. Bromelain can interact with certain medications, especially blood thinners, either making them less effective or amplifying their effect. You might not feel anything dramatic after eating a slice or two. The problem is silent. Creeps in slowly, until one day you notice you can't move as easily as you once did. If you love pineapple, you don't have to cut it out completely. Keep the portion small, and pair it with something that steadies your blood sugar, like a handful of nuts. That simple combination can protect your legs and keep your joints calmer. Now picture something much more familiar. A banana. Soft, sweet, easy to peel, it feels like the perfect everyday snack. Bananas are praised for potassium, and yes, they can help prevent muscle cramps. But for seniors, they can be a sneaky source of trouble. Bananas are high in quick-digesting carbohydrates and natural sugars. For a younger, more active body, that quick energy isn't much of an issue. But after 60, when your metabolism isn't quite as forgiving, that sugar rush can lead to spikes in blood glucose and low-grade inflammation. And where does that inflammation show up first? Often in areas where circulation is already weaker. Your legs, your calves, your ankles. You might notice a dull ache climbing stairs or stiffness when you stand after sitting. There's another piece people often don't connect. Bananas can encourage your body to hold onto fluid. If you have any heart issues or even mild circulation problems, that can mean swelling around the ankles or stiffness in your joints. It's ironic, isn't it? You eat bananas to support your muscles, but if you're eating them every day or in large amounts, they could be quietly working against your mobility. If you've been dealing with persistent swelling or discomfort in your legs, it's worth taking a second look at that fruit bowl. Sometimes just cutting back makes a difference you can actually feel. Now let's shift to something small but powerful, grapes. They look so harmless, tiny bursts of sweetness you can pop in your mouth without thinking. They're full of antioxidants and have a reputation for being heart healthy. But for seniors, grapes can trigger a chain reaction you don't want. Grapes are high in fructose, a kind of sugar that's processed mainly by your liver. When there's too much, your liver converts it into fat and uric acid. That uric acid can build up in your joints, especially in your toes, ankles, and knees. If you've ever woken up with sharp pain in your big toe or felt a sudden burning ache in your foot, grapes might be part of the story. Fructose also fuels low-level inflammation all through your body, making your joints stiffer and your movements slower. The real trap with grapes is how easy they are to overeat. A handful turns into 2, turns into 3, and before you know it, you've flooded your system with sugar. For aging joints and delicate circulation, that's enough to tip the balance toward discomfort. It doesn't mean you can never have them, but if you're dealing with joint pain or swelling, try swapping some of those grapes for a small portion of berries. You get the antioxidants without the same inflammatory punch, and your legs will likely thank you. Now think about a hot summer day and a slice of watermelon. Feels like the healthiest way to cool down, right? Light, refreshing, and mostly water. But watermelon has one thing working against it: a sky-high glycemic index. That means it spikes your blood sugar almost as fast as candy. For seniors, those spikes aren't just a temporary rush. Every surge forces your body to release insulin, and aging bodies have a harder time keeping that balance. The result is inflammation, especially where your circulation is already more fragile, your legs and feet. You might notice your calves feel tired after a meal or your ankles swell. Even climbing a few steps can feel harder when those spikes are happening often. Watermelon's texture makes it easy to overeat. One slice becomes 3 without you realizing, and the sugar adds up quickly. Despite its reputation as hydrating and healthy, for older bodies trying to protect joint health and circulation, it can quietly drain your leg strength over time. If you've been enjoying it regularly and notice heavier legs or more stiffness, experiment with cutting back and see how your body responds. And that leads us directly to another fruit that's practically a symbol of health: the orange. Bright, tangy, and packed with vitamin C, it's the classic choice for immune support. But here's the catch. The citric acid in oranges, perfectly fine for a younger body, can irritate aging joints if there's already inflammation brewing under the surface. That acid seeps into sensitive tissues and fuels discomfort in your knees, hips, and ankles. Add the natural sugars on top, and you have another blood sugar spike feeding low-grade inflammation throughout your body. That morning glass of orange juice you drink for health might actually be making your mobility worse without you knowing. If you love citrus, it doesn't mean you have to give it up. Smaller portions or alternating with gentler fruits can take the strain off your joints. The key is paying attention to how your body feels. If your legs ache after sitting a while or your knees are stiff in the morning, consider what fruits are part of your daily routine. And while oranges can be tricky, there's another fruit that often surprises people even more: the green apple. It looks so clean and healthy, crisp and tart, with less sugar than the red ones. On paper, it feels like the safe choice. But there's a hidden piece most people never hear about, and it has to do with something called malic acid. That sharp, sour bite you taste in a green apple? That's malic acid. Now here's the thing. As you get older, the lining of your gut becomes more sensitive. That acid can irritate it, and that irritation doesn't always stay in your stomach. For a lot of people over 60, discomfort in the digestive system can radiate down into the hips, thighs, or knees. Some even describe a burning feeling in the feet or tightness in the calves not long after eating a tart apple. And even though green apples are lower in sugar compared to some other fruits, they can still create little fluctuations in blood sugar that leave you with nighttime leg cramps or stiffness when you wake up in the morning. It's not that green apples are bad for everyone, but if you're snacking on them regularly and you've noticed your legs feeling heavier or your joints aching more, try a little experiment. Cut back for a couple of weeks and see if your body feels lighter. Those small adjustments are how you figure out which foods are helping you and which ones are quietly making things harder. Now let's talk about the king of tropical sweetness, the mango. Soft, juicy, almost like candy. It's one of those fruits that feels like a treat and health food all at once. But for an aging body, especially after 60, mangoes can hit like a sugar bomb. They're packed with natural sugars, and when that sugar rushes into your bloodstream, it creates a dramatic spike followed by a crash. That crash isn't just about energy. It's about inflammation. And where does that inflammation tend to settle? Your knees, your hips, your ankles, the very joints you rely on to stay mobile. If you have any nerve sensitivity, mangoes can make it worse, leading to tingling, swelling, or a persistent dull pain that makes walking less comfortable. And because they taste so light, it's easy to eat more than you think, which just amplifies the effect. For a body with a slower metabolism, that combination is like adding weight to your legs every time you take a step. If you love mangoes, you don't have to give them up forever. Keep the portions small and don't have them every day. Balance them with fruits that support your joints and circulation instead. And that's where the good news comes in. Not all fruits are working against you. Some are powerful allies, and choosing them can make a real difference in how your legs feel and how easily you move through your day. Berries are at the top of that list. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, they're tiny, but they pack a punch. They're low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and gentle on your blood sugar. Think of them as little helpers for your circulation. They improve blood flow to your legs, reduce swelling, and ease joint stiffness. Every handful is like sending a message to your body saying, keep moving, keep healing. Cherries are another gem, especially if you've ever dealt with gout or sudden joint flare-ups. They naturally lower uric acid levels in your body, which means less burning pain in your toes, knees, or ankles. A small handful a few times a week can make mornings smoother and steps easier. Then there's papaya, often overlooked but quietly amazing. It's full of enzymes that support digestion and reduce inflammation. That makes it gentle not only on your stomach but also on your joints. If you've ever felt like your body needs a break from heavy or acidic fruits, papaya is like a calm, soothing friend. And don't forget pears. They offer a gentle sweetness without overloading your system. When you pair them with a little protein or some fiber, they help keep your blood sugar steady. That stability is key for keeping inflammation low and energy flowing evenly to your legs and muscles. The bigger picture here is simple but powerful. Aging doesn't mean you have to accept pain, stiffness, or limited mobility as your new normal. The fruits we've talked about, pineapple, bananas, grapes, watermelon, oranges, green apples, and mangoes, they're not bad in themselves. They just may not be the right match for your body right now. By swapping some of them out for fruits that actually support your joints and circulation, you can make a real difference in how you feel day to day. Think about the little moments in your life. Getting up from your favorite chair without wincing. Climbing the porch steps without gripping the railing. Taking a walk outside and actually enjoying it instead of pushing through discomfort. Those moments add up, and they come from the choices you make at the table, one bite at a time. So here's my question to you. Which one of these fruits do you eat the most right now? And after hearing this, is there one you're ready to cut back on, even just as a test to see how your body responds? Share it in the comments, or even just say it out loud to yourself. That simple act of saying, I'm going to try this, is the first step in protecting your legs and your independence. You're not powerless in this. Every meal is a chance to either add strain or add strength. When you choose fruits that work with your body instead of against it, you're giving yourself the best gift possible. The ability to move freely and enjoy the life you've built. And it doesn't take drastic changes. It starts with one mindful choice. One swap in your fruit bowl. One moment of listening to how your body feels and adjusting with care. Aging can feel like a battle sometimes. The stiffness in the morning, the fear of falling, the frustration of moving slower than you want. But you have more influence than you think. You don't need complicated diets or extreme restrictions. You just need awareness and small, consistent steps. So the next time you reach for a piece of fruit, pause for just a second. Ask yourself, is this going to help my legs stay strong, my joints stay calm? That one question can guide you to better choices day after day. And over time, those choices build the foundation for a more active, more vibrant version of you. If this resonates with you, take a moment to share your own experience. Have you noticed a connection between what you eat and how your legs feel? Are you willing to try swapping one fruit for another to see if it makes a difference? Your story matters, and it might help someone else take their first step too. And remember, every bite is a choice, and every choice is a step toward keeping your body strong and your life full of movement. Keep making those steps count, one meal, one day at a time.